In this practice exercise, we need to make the sketch of this sprocket. So let's start this one. So I'll go to this circle tool and then I'll select a plane, maybe front plane. And now I'll start with the very first circle here. Alright, and I'll add another circle right here on this quadrant. Now I'll go to Smart Dimension and I'll add the very first dimension here. So this should have a radius of 10, so the diameter will be 20. So there we are. Now in a similar way, we'll add the diameter for this one. Now this is 3.2. As you can see, the radius is 1.6, so the diameter should be twice of that. Alright, so we've added this. Now we just need to add an array. So directly I'll first trim it. So I'll go to trim entities and I'll just trim this part of the drawing. And now using this part, I'll make a polar array or a circular array. So I'll go to this sketch pattern tool and I'll select circular sketch pattern. Now the first thing that we need to select here is the direction of array. So which is this circle. Alright, now that is selected. We just need to select the entities to pattern, and that thing is this. So I'll just select this and maybe I'll just empty this thing first. So I'll just delete everything from here and then I'll select this as the entity to pattern. So we have selected both the things. In the first one, I've selected this boundary. Now that makes the path of this array, and then we have selected the arc too as this. Now you just need to know the number of objects that you want to make here. And in this case, we have total of 12 objects. So I'll just change number of objects from 4 to 12 and tab key. There we are, we've got this thing added. With that, I can click OK and we have this polar array. Now we can trim it again. So let's go to trim entities and now I'll trim this, and in a similar way, I'll just trim all of these gaps. Alright, there we are. We've got the outer layout of this sprocket, so I'll press escape key now. Now we just need to make the slot. So for that, I'll go to the slot option and I'll select center point arc slot. So I'll select the center point here. And now for this, I'll just click maybe here. We can of course change it whenever we want. So I'll just click here and now we have this slot. So I'll just increase its diameter. Alright, so we've got this thing added, but of course the location is not right and we just need to fix it. So to fix this thing, I'll just now start adding some dimensions. So the very first is a line. So I'll just add a line here and then I'll add another line right here. I'll also ensure that these two are construction geometries. So I'll control select both of these and I'll select for construction and OK. Alright. Now this and this should be coincident. So I'll select them and I'll make it coincident. Also, I'll just make sure that this and this remain coincident. So I'll just select this point and this line. Once again, let's make it coincident. Not only that, we also need to ensure that the angle between these two lines is 60 degrees. So now it's time to add that angle. So I'll select that and I'll add the angle between these two as 60 degrees. Okay. We need to make one more change. This is exactly at the center. It is not just like this. So this and this point here, or maybe this one, they should be perfectly vertical. So I'll select this center point and another point here, and I'll make sure that these two remain vertical. With that, now we have 30 degree here and 30 degree here. So now it is equally spaced. Okay, now we can add the radius of this arc. So for that, I'll go to again dimension, and this radius should be 6. So let's just make it 6. Alright, so we are almost done. We just need to add this gap, and the gap here is 2 unit. So you can either select both of these or just add a radii here. So the radius for this is just 1 unit. Now with this 1 unit radius, the gap becomes automatically 2 unit. So we have done this slot. Now we can make the other part of this drawing, and for that I'll once again start with a construction line. So I'll just select a line and maybe I'll just add it here. Alright, and I'll add an arc as well. So I'll select center point arc, and here I'll just click at the center, and we just need to make an arc that kind of looks like this. So here I will just ensure that we have an arc in this anti-clockwise direction. So I'll just click kind of like this. So I'll control select to reverse the direction here, and we have got this arc and then this line. I'll once again convert both of these into construction geometry. So I'll select both of these and for construction and OK. All right, once again we just need to constrain it properly. So I'll add the dimension here, and the radius of this arc is 6 unit. All right, not only that, this angle, the angle which this thing is making with the vertical line is 60 degrees, because the entire angle is 120. So we of course need a vertical line, though it is not visible in the drawing, but we just need one. I'll select this. Again, this should be for construction. There we are, we've got this thing for construction, and the angle is 60 degrees. So I'll select this line and this one, and this angle is going to be 60. Alright, so we have got all of these construction geometries. I just need to increase its length a little bit further so that we get this intersection point, and right at the point of intersection I will now add another circle here. So I'll just add it like this, and of course this is not at the point of intersection, so I'll just make sure that it is coincident on this, and also I'll just ensure that this center is coincident on this one. This will kind of ensure that it is actually coincident on both, which kind of makes it exactly here at the intersection point. There we are. Now I'll add the dimension here. So its diameter is 2 unit. Now we can once again make another array or another pattern. So I'll go to circular sketch pattern, and in this case once again we'll start with this arc. Now this arc will actually decide the direction, and then I'll delete this arc in the entities to pattern, and I'll select this circle that we just need to pattern. Now we need to fill it in an angle of 120 degrees. Right now it is filling it in 360 degrees. So I'll just type 120 and I'll press the tab key. Now automatically you can see that it is filling it in this clockwise direction, so which is kind of right. If however direction is not right, you can always reverse it. So here number of instances is 4. I just need 5. So I'll just change number of instances from 4 to 5. Now we have 5 of these objects. If just for whatever reason you want to reverse the direction, just click here, and now it is clockwise. You can just make it anti-clockwise like this. Alright, so we've got 5 of these objects, and they are exactly filling this space along 120 degrees. That's what we want, and with that I'll just click OK, and we have this thing added here as well. Finally, we just need to add the slot right here at the center. And to do that, I'll just simply make 2 circles. So I'll just go to the first circle, and then I'll add maybe another one like this, and the radius or the diameter for these 2. So the first diameter here is 6. And then the second diameter, it looks like they are very closely spaced now. So I'll just click here, and now the second one is here. That's 4. So we have got both of these circles. Now we just need to add 2 lines. So I'll go to line, and here I'll just make sure that it is simply long enough to just kind of pass these 2 circles. That's all we need. And another line which is straight and right this. Alright, so now with the smart dimension, I'll add the dimension of 110 degrees. So this is 110. We are done. Now we can trim it. So let's go to trim entities. This needs to be trimmed, and so is this, and we need to trim this and this. Alright, I'll select trim entities, and I'll just trim this. Alright, so we've done it. Now we'll also trim these and these part of the arcs. Okay, and we can simply delete these 2 arcs. So we just have a single segment now, and we can use it to once again create a new array or a new polar pattern. So I'll go to this option and select circular sketch pattern, and I'm actually referring to circular sketch pattern as polar pattern. So there we are. Now we just need to start with the path, which is this one. So that's the center path, and now select the arc. So I'll clear the selection, and I'll select all of these. So these 4 are the objects which we want to pattern. Number of object is 3, so I'll just change it to 3, and as soon as you change it to 3, it will automatically fill the proper space. If it is not filling it properly, just make sure you add a total angle of 360 degrees here, and then it will fill it properly. With that, click OK, and finally we have this. So that's the 2D shape of this sprocket. Now as you can see, we used lots of circular patterns here, and that's the idea behind this sketch. There are a lot of dimensions which are still not constrained, so if you want to, you can further constrain your drawing by adding dimensions on all the other sketches. But this is the final sketch which we wanted to make.